Good morning, gentlemen of Holiday Hill. Josh here for Macho Monday. Our pastor, Pastor Albert's not here, so I'm filling in for him for the next few weeks. While we're filming this, we have yet to take part in the Jacksonville Sharks game we have set for Saturday. So before I get started, man, what a game, right? And when that guy did that thing, and wow, amazing. I can't believe we got tickets to such an event, that amazing thing that happened. So there, we have that now, so we can edit that later. Anyway, back to Macho Monday. So yesterday we were talking about John 14, where Jesus says, if you love me, you'll keep my commandments. And as I shared with you guys before the last time I did a Macho Monday, there's some things that just can't get past the cutting room floor, but man, does it hurt. Like, oh, I wanted to put that one in there, but couldn't. So this actually serves as a wonderful opportunity. I can give you some of the stuff that didn't make it past the editing room, but I thought was still too good just to, had to share it. So here it is. Walter Elias Disney pretty much shaped the fabric of American culture in the 20th century. And he changed the game with a cartoon mouse and a theme park. But see, Walt wanted more than just the legacy of cartoons and theme parks. He had this idea that he wanted to implement. He wanted to change the game when it came to what we think a city should look like, what a community should look like. What does a city or a community of the future entail? How would it be more efficient? How would it accomplish what it wishes to accomplish on a level better than anyone ever did before? And it was from this idea, from this vision, he decided to create an experimental prototype community of tomorrow, or Epcot for short. That's what it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be a literal community that would change the game and basically serve as an example of what other communities could be like. It was, you could still look at, you can Google it up, man. It like the idea of what it was supposed to be. It was like circles, like an outer, an inner, and like a middle circle, like all concentric together. They would have been connected with monorail and people mover systems. So you would have had mass transit involved. The outer circle would have been your actual community, like your homes and stuff. And then your inner circle would have been your industry, your companies, your businesses. So people would take the railway system from outer circle to inner circle to go to work. That middle circle was going to be like your shops, your restaurants, your malls, things like that were going to be in that middle circle. And then you'd have churches, multiple denominational churches spread all around. One of the original models you could actually find in the Wedway People Mover in Magic Kingdom to this very day. And it's named Progress City. That was the original idea for Epcot. Why didn't we get it? Here's why we didn't get it. Walt picked up a terrible habit for smoking when he served in World War I. And from that moment on, he never quit. And because he never quit, and because he became quite the smoker, as many people who smoke do, he faced health complications that ultimately resulted in the end of his life prematurely. Walt had a brother, older brother named Roy, who was also a veteran himself. And Roy was in the hospital room with Walt in the final moments. And the story goes, Walt's laying in his bed and with his finger kind of drawing at the ceiling tiles of the hospital, explaining to Roy what Epcot looks like. He told Roy, don't drop this idea. This idea has to go through. We got to create Epcot. You got to make Epcot. It's got to look like this. It's got to be like this. This is how we're going to accomplish it. This is what's going to be done. And Roy loved his brother and wanted to do all that he could. And it was going to be called the Florida Project. And one of the things that was going to bring people in was they were going to create a second theme park. Wonder whatever happened to that thing in Florida. Anyway. They were going to create a theme park, and Epcot was going to be like the true cornerstone of the Florida Project, the experimental prototype community of tomorrow. and Walt passes away. And Roy was ready for retirement, but he loved his brother, and he wanted to see his brother's vision accomplished. So Roy endured and was there for the grand opening of the Magic Kingdom of Walt Disney World. But shortly after that grand opening, Roy passed away. And the people who filled the void truly didn't love Walt like Roy loved Walt. Oh, I'm sure they liked him. I mean, Walt, from what I gather, was a pretty enjoyable guy. Nice guy to be around. A little eccentric sometimes, but most geniuses are. But they didn't love him like Roy did. So they had this idea, and what they decided to do instead was to create Epcot as a theme park for innovation and cultures, international culture. And there are probably some people watching today that like Epcot the way it is. But I'm one of those guys, you walk into it and I think, what might have been, what could have been. This isn't the vision. This isn't what he wanted. This isn't what he desired. And at its core, it was because they didn't follow what he said. And they didn't follow what he said because at its core, they didn't love him like his brother loved him. Guys, we've been challenged this weekend. When we love God, we're going to keep his commands. When you truly love someone, you don't feel shackled to the realities of having to follow all the rules, all the do's and don'ts. It's natural. It's common. It's a general flow of life. Because when you love someone, you keep their commands. You want to respect what they desire. You like what they like. You avoid what they dislike. Something to consider this morning. So, gentlemen, as you're going through life, remember, when you love them, you keep the commands. Love Jesus. Follow him. Do what he says. And let's see what happens. Don't let anyone wonder what could have or might have been had he just listened. Take care, and God bless.